Well, it's been about 2 years since I did my original top 10 Pokemon games list, and I must say, my opinions have changed. I've played new games, and let's be honest, that video wasn't all that well made to begin with. So today I'm remaking that video, but with a bit of a change. Last time I only looked at the main series games, but today any Pokemon game will be considered. Main series and spin-offs, and believe me, there is some spin-off games on this list, for sure. Pokemon Emerald. Hoenn is a great and beautiful region. The move to the GBA was a very positive one for Pokemon. With new graphics, a little bit of a deeper story and even more Pokemon than ever before, this game was sure to attract a lot of new players to the series. I was one of those. Pokemon Emerald was my first Pokemon game. Somehow though, my nostalgic feelings for this game aren't huge. I mean, I like the game, it's on my top 10 list at the end of the day. I just don't love it like other people seem to do. I personally never played Ruby or Sapphire as a kid, and even now I've only played through them a couple of times. Because let's face it, Emerald's just downright a better game, so why would you ever play those original games? What do I mean when I say it's better? Well, you can catch both legendary Pokemon. Yeah, that's about it. Also, something about a battle frontier. Pokemon Yellow. Am I putting a first generation game on this list? Yes. Am I putting this first generation game above Pokemon Emeralds on this list? I sure am. Look, somehow this game is more nostalgic for me than my first Pokemon game. It also probably has something to do with the fact that it's more like the Pokemon anime than any other game. And as a kid I figured that would be a good reason to like the game. All jokes aside though, I got this game as a gift. I don't exactly remember everything, but I remember wanting Pokemon Red version. I had just completed my Pokemon Emerald version and I wanted more. Seeing Pokemon Red, I asked my mom to buy it for me. Being the annoying little kid that I was, I forgot about it a mere second after asking, and that evening when we came back home, she gave a gift to me. She had bought the wrong game though. So without knowing, she had bought me the better game. I don't know why this story makes this game better, it just adds to the nostalgia for me. Also, Pikachu follows you around. I mean, that's awesome, right? Better yet, you could get all 3 starters from Red and Blue before the second gym. Pokemon X. It's time for a more recent game now. Those of you who have seen my original top 10 Pokemon games will know that I ranked this as number 1. Well, it's close to the bottom of the list now. That being said, it still is on the list, so I still like it a lot. The story is at least a little bit above average for a Pokemon game. And the move to the 3DS with the new graphic style is the best thing that could happen to Pokemon in a long time. In a way, this game almost feels like a reboot of the series, a fresh and new start. I mean, it's obvious that Pokemon X and Y are meant to be enjoyed by both old and new players, but it feels like it's fresh. There's a lot of old Pokemon included in this game, yet there's a decent balance with the new Pokemon too. The designs are mostly nice. I mean, of course there's going to be the odd one out of the bunch, like in every single generation, but most of the creatures feel like Pokemon. I'm far from a Gen 1 fanboy, but there's just a distinct feeling to the designs of the first generation Pokemon, which was replicated really well in Generation 6. More so than in Generations 3, 4 and 5. Long story short, I love Pokemon X and Y for what they have done to the whole series. As just a set of games though, they're rather bland and a bit boring. Pokemon Platinum. Oh boy, if there's one game in this series I feel nostalgia for, it's Pokemon Platinum. Which is honestly quite strange because it's my 4th or 5th Pokemon game. I honestly think that 4th generation as a whole is the best generation if you can get over the walking speed, which is slow as heck. Which I must admit is a huge problem. Diamond and Pearl were really great games. Then Platinum was released and they added even more content together with the Distortion world. I'm not going to lie, apart from nostalgia, the Distortion world might be the biggest reason this game even made it onto this list at all. I love how they just screw any kind of logic and make a weird and somewhat disturbing place where Giratina lives. Talking about which, the new forms for Giratina and Shaman look awesome. The actual in-game sprite for Shaman looks awful though. I really feel like they just throw some concept art into the game and release the game. Pokemon Hard Gold. While we're on the topic of 4th generation, this is the reason I love 4th generation so much. Let's start with the most awesome thing this game offers you. Walking with your Pokémon. Yeah! They took a good look at Pokemon Yellow and said, you know that Pikachu following you around? That was a neat idea. Let's improve that. And so, in this game, any Pokemon in the front of your party will follow you around in the overworld. What is the particular use of such a thing? Well, nothing. But it looks awesome. I'm so busy freaking out over those Pokemon following you, I haven't even mentioned that this is a remake of Pokemon Gold and Silver, but it also has some elements of Pokemon Crystal in there too. Gold and Silver were amazing games and to this day remain one of my favorites too, but Heart Gold and Soul Silver just improve on the originals in every single way. To all the game developers out there, this is how you remake a game. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Blue and Red Rescue Team. I told you there would be spin-off games on this list, and oh boy, you're going to see a few of them in the upper half of this list. Let's start with the first entry of the Mystery Dungeon series. There's nothing really bad I can say about this game. It's the first entry and it's damn near perfect already. Starting with the story, it's a little bit slow to start off with, but you always feel like something's happening and you're working towards something. The gameplay is fun and just downright addicting. Going to a dungeon twice will always give you a different layout. And some endgame's dungeons are really long and really hard, which in turn force you to grind up. Recruiting all the legendary Pokemon is a task which is both slow and tedious, but also really addicting and fun. The only downside I could really find in this game is that you can't evolve until the post-game. But I think honestly that's for the better, because that way you get more of a connection with your characters rather than evolving them and having them change constantly. And when you're talking emotional connections to characters, this game does it right. I won't spoil anything for you, but tears might be shed when watching the ending of the main story. Pokemon Black and White. Well, we're back to the main series games for a little bit, but I promise we won't stay here for very long. So, by now you guys know that I am a sucker for story, and yes, that's really the only reason this game made it on here. While it's clearly Nintendo's way of making a comment on the tax PETA has been throwing in their general direction, it does make for a great story with no real evil, just two sides to an argument. We never stop to think about what we do with our Pokemon, right? Surely the Pokemon we use in battle don't mind us taking them away from the natural habitat, away from the possible families just so they can beat up some other Pokemon. I mean, look, I know this is just a game, and these Pokemon are just little bits of data and a cartridge, but still, the point stands, it's kinda fucked up what you're doing, right? That's all very nice, and the story is told in a way where it doesn't feel too intimidating or deep, but still there is a lot of depth and food for thought there. And the region is really nice too. It does feel a little bit linear for my liking, compared to some of the other regions where you do come around to certain cities a couple of times throughout the story. I mean, at some point you do revisit some cities because of the story, but it doesn't feel natural because there's literally a linear path going through all the cities to the Elite Four, whereas in other regions you would have the map laid out for you to revisit those cities naturally. Bottom line, I don't think this game deserves all the hate it gets, even if one of the Pokemon is literal garbage. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Game Freak knows how to make remakes. We've already seen that on this list with Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but damn, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are awesome! Again, these games take the original games, add in some Emerald elements and say, fuck it, let's make this shit better. Adding more Mega Evolutions even after Pokemon X and Y, something that most people didn't expect to happen. Adding a Delta episode where you can get both Mega Rayquaza and Deoxys. Then, where Pokemon X and Y did have some great moments with these pseudo cutscenes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire take full advantage of the new engine and go all out having really nice and dynamic cameras throughout some story parts of the game. All this fancy shit does come with a price though. Pokemon X and Y already were a bit on the unstable part when it came to frame rate. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire though just downright have frame rate problems. In some instances it drops below 20 frames per second. I know it's a 3DS game and the system wasn't quite made for cinematic greatness, but it's something that I do have to mention. But even if it didn't have that problem, it wouldn't be higher on this list. This game is great, but the next two entries on this list are just on a whole other level altogether. Pokemon Conquest. Don't get me wrong, I respect people's opinions, but if you think this game is bad, you're just wrong. It's weird, you'd think that a Pokemon game being kid-friendly RPG wouldn't really mix all that well with a series like Nobunaga's Ambition. Well, it does. If you don't know what Nobunaga's Ambition is, well, let's compare it to Fire Emblem instead. If you don't know what Fire Emblem is, how do you not know what Fire Emblem is? Anyway, this genre of games is probably one of the most hardcore genres out there for gaming. Well, it was before MOBAs were a thing, I guess. Anyway, this game is of course pretty easy compared to the source material, and it includes Pokemon-like elements such as evolution and type strength and weaknesses. The game story isn't that great, but the gameplay feels really nice and fair to get into the genre. Even if you're not a Pokemon fan, but you want to get into tactical RPGs, this is a great place to start. I know for a fact that after playing this, I am moving on to play some Fire Emblem games and probably Nobunaga's Ambition itself. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Sky. Is this a surprise to anyone? Because if it is, you're clearly new to my channel. In which case, don't forget to subscribe. I don't think I have to explain myself here, do I? This game improves greatly on the original Mystery Dungeon games, and to this day still is the best Pokemon game I've ever played. The gameplay is addicting as all hell, because there's so many dungeons and all of them are unique every time you enter. There's lots of items and Pokemon to find and places to explore. We all know the main selling point for this game though, the story. Rarely do you see a game with a story this well written, and most of the times when you see it, it's a Square Enix game. This game is not only the best story in a Pokemon game ever, it's also one of the best stories in gaming, or maybe even narrative media in general. The characters are well developed in a logical way, the emotions feel real, the twists are actually surprises, and there's one big emotional rollercoaster through the entire adventure, which is just written perfectly. I will not spoil any part of the story for you guys, but if you're interested, and you should be, go get this game and play it. Or you could watch my Let's Play on the game, that also works. Thanks for watching my top 10 Pokemon games. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like below this video. Also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. You can also click the thumbnails on the screen if you want to watch more of my content. Until the next time though, I have been Vlogger, you have been awesome as always. Bye.